Subscribe
The
and
show
hit that
begins in
like button to
Thailand's
help our channel
top-rated
grow.
school,
Turn the
Ritdha
notifications
High.
on so
It
you
is
won't
considered
miss
the
any of our
hardest
new
school
videos.
to get into,
Thanks
as
for
many
watching.
Thai leaders and sports persons are its alumni. The school itself is strict and is divided into several sections of students according to their academic capabilities. The students belonging to Section 1 have privileges like no others. They get better washrooms, more food portions, better dorms, and a free pass to get out of any trouble they make. In other words, they're all going to become fat criminals. As the section number increases, the privileges decrease. The last section is Section 8, which is notoriously famous for being the class of the dumb. They get little to no academic privilege, a rustic bathroom, fewer food portions, and a dorm that they have to share with 10 more people. The protagonist, Pang, is the last student of Section 8. He is officially the dumbest guy at Ritdha High and is bullied by all. His only friend is Nak, who is from Section 1 and is named after a terrible video game. Because of his influence, Pang was given a nicer dorm to share with him. Despite being from very different social classes, they always have each other's back. Nak frequently tries to tutor Pang so he can also move to higher sections, but Pang likes to complain about the unfair system rather than studying. One afternoon, he pretends to be a Section 1 student to get better food, but he accidentally drops his plate on a student named Wave. He is an arrogant genius who can solve math and computer problems in seconds without a calculator. Wave orders Pang to clean his shoe, or he will tell the principal that he is pretending to be of a higher section. Just then, Principal Latha intervenes and asks them what the problem is. Pang is about to be caught before Nak comes to his aid and lies that he is one of the good students. Even though Pang's batch is missing, Latha believes Nak and tells him to go. Next week, the mid-semester test is going to be held. It is the most crucial test of their school life because a selected few will be upgraded to the gifted class. It is a special section of students who receive advantages over everyone else in the school, even Section 1. They are given apartments instead of dorms, free health checkups every month. Their education is funded by the school, and they are made to attend special classes, unlike the normal students. Every student who has been in the gifted program over the years has achieved unattainable heights of success. Hence, the entire school is studying hard for the midterms. Nak is worried for his friend, knowing that he might get kicked out of the school if he fails again. Hence, the duo decides to steal the midterm papers. They are successful in doing so, but the questions seem odd to Nak. He thinks they are too easy, considering that they decide who gets to be in the gifted group. Eventually, the day of the test arrives. Pang has brought a cheat sheet with all the answers, but he doesn't want to use them. Halfway through the test, a noise plays on the speakers, followed by someone asking the students to write their thoughts about evolution on the back page. Pang starts doing as instructed, but strangely enough, the other students didn't seem to have heard the message. In the following scene, a crowd has gathered in front of the notice board looking for their ranks. To Pang's utmost surprise, he has been selected for the gifted program, and at the same time, Nak hasn't. Nak is clearly upset and believes that Pang somehow cheated him so he could get into the program. At night, they talk about everything, and he pretends that the results don't bother him. Pang is glad that his friend is understanding, unaware that Nak has started to hate him. The next day, he walks into the gifted class for the first time. The arrogant topper, Wave, has also made it into the class. Pang instantly makes friends with a guy named Om, who used to be in Section 2. Moments later, a teacher named Mr. Palm enters the class. He is a special trainer assigned to assist the gifted students only. He shows them a presentation about the rules one has to follow now that they are a part of something extra. The most crucial rule is that they are not allowed to talk about the things that happen in class to the people outside. Throughout the presentation, Pang notices weird equations popping up on the screen that everyone ignores. At the end of the class, Palm shows them a math question and asks them for the answer. The question makes no sense, but everyone seems to know the answer, other than Pang. This is because the question is related to the equations that were shown throughout the presentation. The others were able to process it in their minds and form an answer, but not Pang. Before the class is dismissed, Mr. Palm assigns them to find out why they are in the classroom. He doesn't explain the question further and leaves the students confused. A few days later, Pang and Nak get into an argument because Pang doesn't tell them anything about the gifted class. Nak thinks Pang has made friends with Wave and forgotten him. Wave hears this and provokes Nak even more. This causes an altercation and Wave falls unconscious. In the following scene, Pang and Nak are in the principal's office. They are about to be punished when Palm comes to Pang's rescue. Since he is one of the gifted, his punishment is waived, but Nak's punishment is doubled as a result. Pang tries to help his friend, but Nak is not grateful at all. He pushes Pang, and the two get into a fight in front of the principal. It ends when they declare that they are no longer each other's friends. After that, Pang moves out of his old dorm room and into the new apartment. The gifted students have picked up on the strange curriculum they are being taught in class. One evening, they gather in the computer lab to discuss what the management wants from the gifted. They agree that something unnatural is happening to all of them. Suddenly, Wave arrives and reveals that he knows what is going on. He has hacked into Mr. Palm's laptop and has access to his webcam. They watch Palm talking to the school's director about them. He praises Wave for figuring out his gift quicker than everyone else. He further explains that Wave has the power to hack into any computer or electronic system with just a touch. Everyone is shocked, but before they ask Wave if it is true, they are interrupted by the school's director. He turns the laptop towards him, assuming that Wave and the group are watching him. He is proud of them for being curious and explains that they weren't chosen randomly. All animals are constantly evolving to fit into the environment, and the same goes for humans. They have been chosen because they are more evolved than their normal classmates. They possess supernatural and superhuman abilities that stem from their personalities and behavior. He asks them to rest assured because they are not being experimented upon. Instead, their capabilities will be polished in the gifted program so they can grow up and do things for the betterment of humankind as a whole. After the meeting, the gifted are in shock. Pang doesn't believe the director because he sees himself as an ordinary guy. The next day, the students are asked if they have found their abilities. Everyone raises their hands except Pang and another guy. The rest tell everyone about their powers. The first guy can imitate any skill just by watching a video of someone doing it. Then there are a pair of twins who are in sync and can feel each other's pain. That's a terrible power. Third is a girl named Nam Tan, who can hear and see things associated with objects. She proves her ability by touching a pencil box and revealing where it was a few days ago. Ohm is the last person to showcase his ability, but it turns out he hasn't figured it out yet and thinks making people laugh is his specialty. Later, Nam Tan asks him for her pen that she lent him earlier in class. She is heartbroken upon discovering that he lost it because it was a gift from someone special. Ohm also feels bad and wishes the pen would reappear. Just when he says that, something tings inside his pencil box, but he doesn't check it. During the lunch break, Ohm's classmate Fred gives him a bag and asks him to keep it safe. It contains the test papers for a test tomorrow. The principal catches Ohm with the bag and checks it. To his surprise, she gives it back because the papers have vanished. The incident makes him register that his superpower is making things disappear. He shows his ability to his classmates in the next class and impresses them. Mr. Palm wants him to be careful because he doesn't know how to bring the things back into existence yet. When Ohm is in the bathroom that day, he is approached by Fred, who wants the test papers back. Ohm claims that they disappeared, but Fred refuses to believe him. He is about to get violent before Ohm vanishes him. In the heat of the moment, He regrets it instantly and runs away. The next day, the news about Fred's disappearance spreads around the school. Ohm doesn't tell anyone about his involvement until Wave hacks the CCTV footage and shows the entire class that he was responsible for the disappearance. Afraid that he will do the same to other people, Ohm runs away and stays in the computer lab for the rest of the day. Hours later, Pang finds him and asks him to at least try to bring the missing things back. Ohm has lost all hope until Namtan shows him that her pen magically reappeared in her pencil box. This means if he really wants to get something back, he can. The three go to the bathroom stall, where Ohm tries his best to bring Fred back. Initially nothing works, but then they hear a noise coming from a stall. Fred has returned, and even though he is a little bit shaken, he is doing fine. In the next class, Ohm shows his classmates the progress he made in controlling his power. Mr. Palm encourages everyone to do the same, because they have only just started to see the beginning stage of their abilities. While walking down the hallways that day, Ohm bumps into Fred. To his surprise, Fred doesn't seem to recognize him. He is distracted by other things, so he dismisses it for the moment. The gifted spend the next few days trying to explore more of themselves. Namtan shows the most progress, and can now tell who the owner of a thing is just by touching it. However, she has a weakness that whenever she uses the power, her blood pressure rises to a dangerous level. Mr. Palm talks to her mother, who discloses that high blood pressure has always been a problem for Namtan. Palm also gives the students books to read, because the development of their powers is directly related to their personality development. While in the library, Namtan finds a file with the names and occupations of every gifted student that is passed from Ritdha. They see that almost all of them are working in multinational companies and are highly successful. Palm also turns out to be one of the students who belonged to Gifted Program Batch 3. Suddenly, Pang notices a page from the file is missing that seems to have contained information about student number 5. Namtan uses her power to see that the page had the name and picture of a man named Non. Weirdly, no significant detail about him is mentioned. They ask Mr. Palm in the next class and find out that Non resigned from the program because he couldn't keep up with the others. Upon seeing that Namtan is interested in Non's story, Palm takes her to the storeroom and hands her a box full of Non's belongings. Later that day, Namtan wears his glasses and walks down the hallway, looking at the world from Non's point of view. Pang's room used to be his, where she finds out he wanted to be an astronaut and was very good at math. This makes her suspicious of Mr. Palm's story, because someone like Non would not have a hard time keeping up with his peers. Palm notices that Namtan's health is deteriorating day by day. He asks her to stop using her powers for a few days, but she is too invested in Non's case to listen. Pang helps her to get more info on him by going through the official school documents that the students are restricted to see. They find paperwork that confirms that Non did resign from the program. However, when Namtan touches the paper, she sees that the pen that signed it belonged to Mr. Palm. It is clear that he was the one who filled the form, not Non. Namtan also finds out that the last time Palm met Shannon was in the school's warehouse. The next day, she goes to the warehouse with Pang and asks him to pick the lock for her. When he does, she locks herself inside. Using Chenon, glasses, and jacket, she is able to see what happened when he was last here. He has a red file with something very crucial about the school. Because of it, he was restrained by a group of men, so a woman could steal the file. Before Namtan can see further, her blood pressure rises and she gets dizzy. Just then, Pang enters the room and finds her on the ground. Before passing out, she tells him that Chenon found out about the school's secret. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.